morning. This is Dr. M with another coffee chat. Thanks for joining me. I wanted to hop on kind of just to show you my mug. So I have a mug collecting hobby. My husband will call it an addiction. And I noticed that my mug matched my nails and just wanted to show you. My husband and I traveled to London last summer, and that's where I purchased this mug. I have tons of mugs, but I feel like I don't have enough. I tried to film this about 5 times already this morning because my puppy is being a puppy, and she found the loudest, squeakiest toy to play with when I started filming, of course. But she's now napping, as puppies do, and I think I tried to burn a lot of her energy already this morning. She's the best though. She's learning really quickly. She's a lab mix, and she has been learning sit. I don't want to say she's perfected sit, but she's already come a long way, and we've only had her for a week. She gets spayed this Friday, so I know she won't be in a playful mood the next couple of days after that surgery. So we'll just try to spend as much time with her as we can now and be here for her when she recoups. So one of the topics I wanted to talk about today is something that I mentioned a little bit in my previous coffee chat, but I didn't really go into much detail. Just to touch on it, I have had thoughts over the years about things I wish they taught you in high school. I did mention the range of emotions that we can go through and feel as human beings, and that's normal. And you've heard the saying, it's okay not to be okay, and that's absolutely true. But one of the things I wish I knew earlier on in life is that life has its ups and downs. But even though we may have heard that, we never really dug deeper, especially at that age. I was not prepared for some of the obstacles that I faced. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. So there's something known as the sandwich generation. Although I don't have children, the sandwich generation is that generation in between where we now find ourselves having to be the caretaker for children and the caretaker for our aging parents. And as baby boomers age, so do the needs that they may need to acquire. And depending on family resources, that could be either easier or harder to access. And that can create a lot of stress for family households. A lot of aging parents are moving in with their children, along with adult children moving back in with their parents. So you have 3 generations within one home. To self-disclose a little, my husband and I don't have children, but I did go through a period where my dad developed dementia, and he lived 1,000 miles away and experienced a great dire need for increased caretaking. And this is not something that was ever brought to my attention when I was younger. You kind of logically know what's happening, but not everyone is going to feel fully prepared for when it does happen. And as much as I loved my dad, he did end up passing away about 1.5 years ago. As much as I loved my dad, it was very stressful, sad, and depressing to watch your parent decline. You start to grieve your parent and who they were because their personality does start to change. So I was in a spot where I had to learn how to manage the primary caretaking of my father. I was listed as the executor, and I held a full-time job. And to maintain both was one of the most stressful moments of my life. And that's not to, knock. I had a very strong relationship, very positive relationship with my father. So, I struggled with some feelings of sadness, stress, feeling overwhelmed. But I loved my dad and would do it again. But I bring all this up just to kind of validate that we don't talk about these experiences enough. And I really felt isolated and alone. And one of the areas where I could find the most support were people who had similar experiences. And I didn't realize how many people had this same experience because it's not talked about. And this is just one topic that I want to bring up, because as we move through this stage of life, we're going to have lots of experiences that are almost like epiphanies because they were not discussed earlier on in life. And so life has these ebbs and flows, right? But I don't think we talk about life experiences that don't feel as good earlier on in life. And I'm not saying that that's all you should talk about and have these difficult conversations all the time, but some awareness would have been nice. We talk a lot about having different things in schools, like learning how to manage your finances. And yes, I absolutely agree with that, but I wasn't emotionally prepared for a lot of things that I encountered. And so I'm a huge advocate of having conversations that are difficult or that may be taboo, because I think when you do have those conversations, you feel more connected, you feel more understood and heard, and you can build a support network. I'm very fortunate in the fact that I do come from the field of human services, and I had some tools in my toolbox that I knew worked for me with coping. Now, that is not flawless. I still had many days and many attempts at using one of my coping skills. And one, I'll put that out there, I do enjoy running. You can only run so much, especially at my age when you can be a little bit more injury prone. And so building community and reaching out to people is something I found very helpful. And coping skills are very individualized to the person, healthy coping skills. But as I think of topics, I definitely want to chat more about them. I'd love to hear, what's worked for other people. And I want to be a support, even if you just stumble across my video and it makes you feel heard and not as alone, because I definitely felt alone in that moment. I felt isolated beyond belief, even when people, tried to make me feel heard but didn't understand the situation. And not blaming them, and no fault of their own. I didn't expect anyone to be able to financially help me, but I think just having someone or people going through similar experiences to have that dialogue with was very helpful. And so that's kind of why I'm here and what I want to be to others as well. There are so many topics that I can think of, and they're not all going to be depressing topics, I promise that. But it's just something that came up in the previous chat that is very relevant to this stage of life that I just kind of wanted to bring back up. And if you happen to find this video and you're in a similar situation or circumstance, know you're not alone. It's an unfortunate part of life that a lot of us experience. And there is help and resources out there. Even the ASMR community has been I talk about running, but the ASMR community and finding vlogs and videos of people going through similar things or sharing projects and things they enjoy doing. Anything you enjoy doing is a way of coping. And I just found that so comforting. And so, yeah, if you want to hear more, if you want to connect, please feel free to comment. Please subscribe. I'm really not in this to become monetized or to gain thousands and thousands of subscribers. It would be nice because I want to build a community where we can support each other and I want to give back. Yeah, so I hope your day's going well. I have a doctor's appointment, which is a part of self-care, right? I have that going on this morning. And then my husband and I are going into the city for a date night. So that should be fun. We are going to a restaurant where they are known for mussels and burgers. And then we're going to watch a stand-up show. So we go out pretty frequently. And have date nights maybe once a week or once every other week, but we don't see stand-up a lot. And I love the city, so I'm super excited, and that's definitely an outlet too. So very excited for today. It's not rainy today. It's sunny. It's still summer, so I am going to enjoy the rest of the day, and I hope you all have a great day as well. Have a great day. Bye.